Okay, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm super excited for this battle. My excitement really comes from the research that went into both. I've done some Dragonborn content before. In particular, I've covered Elder Scrolls before on my channel a long ass time ago. If you smash the like button, I'll do so again because it is very interesting, very complex. So I would like to make a bunch of videos on separate things throughout the lore because you kind of want a finer breakdown on it. So if this video does very well, I'll start doing Elder Scroll lore breakdown and different complicated verses like that, Dark Souls, all that. But anyways, this battle is really interesting to me for several reasons. And these reasons really came to me, honestly, like after deciding the battle, going through it, and then more so looking back into Dragonborn, what he accomplished, as well as looking directly at what He-Man himself accomplished. So some of the comparisons I found were both are the strongest or should be the strongest mortals in their verse. This being the strongest man in the verse is essential to their lore and growth as characters. They both face universe vanquishing and conquering foes and are forced to do so. Both are primarily swordsmen. Both have ties to insane power sources that exist beyond the confines of creation. And finally, both planets that they live on are viewed as essential to creation. So it's a fascinating battle between He-Man and Dragonborn from Elder Scrolls. I hope you guys enjoy it. Now, the He-Man section won't be as long because I just did a video on him. Definitely go check that out. But I still am going to break him down and cover him, so I'll go over him first, then the Dragonborn, and then I will tell you guys who I think would win if these two legends clashed. Now, being the strongest warrior or man in his universe has to mean something for He-Man, right? So what does that mean? I'm going to take some of his best feats from crossover events and comic events and some mentions from solo stuff, but mostly a focus on what he's done and where it stands in the grand scheme of things. First off, he was declared the strongest mortal by Skeletor and goes toe-to-toe with 1982 Superman. A bloodlusted, mind-controlled Superman only temporarily knocked him down for a few. Now keep in mind, this Superman is almost meme level in terms of what he can casually do. I mean, he casually throws people through time for jokes and stuff, and they duked it out. He-Man didn't even want to fight him, and still temporarily only got knocked down by this bloodlusted Superman. The power of half of the Sword of Power, which He-Man will have, is beyond anything Superman has ever encountered. This means low end. The power sources dealt with here, which He-Man easily contends with, is at least Spectre tier of power given how many times Superman encountered those tiers of power before this event. Now, Castle Grayskull, which He-Man can channel power from and will be allowed to do so in this battle, is potent enough to contain the anti-life equation from DC Comics. In some runs, it's explained that the anti-life equation is referred to as 1/2 the source and power. This is very impressive, given that He-Man can literally throw this kind of power around in a battle. Now, for those questioning if Grayskull really can produce that much power, this is actually consistent given that He-Man himself has shattered the Star Seed, which Grayskull power was being used at the time. The Star Seed is the power source of creation itself. The Orb of Power was used to defeat anti-life absorbed from Castle Grayskull Darkseid. This orb is using the power of the DC multiverse itself. With the Orb of Power scaling above the half source level anti-life, this is wild because Shazam amped He-Man beat Orb of Power Superman outright. This scales potentially above source level and power, which is well into Outerversal. By the way, for this battle, I will also allow He-Man to tap into the source of Shazam's power to use during battle if he feels the need to do so. Now, the Swords of Power and Omen grant sight beyond sight and power beyond power. So what this means basically is that both of these allow sight that see possibilities of creation busting threats, and the power is beyond the power needed to destroy creation. Finally, the power allowed for the defeat of Mum-Ra-infused Skeletor, who also had the Orb of Power, was used by He-Man. This Skeletor that was defeated by He-Man with the Sword of Power admitted he literally was holding the power of the multiverse itself, aka all of creation, yet He-Man was able to overcome him. Overall, He-Man's one of the strongest warriors we've ever seen in fiction, and with the powers he's granted in this battle from the crossovers as well, he is certainly dangerous to anyone, including the Dragonborn. But we got He-Man's section out of the way. It's time to touch up on Dragonborn and what he brings to the table. Dragonborn, of course, this is the Last Dragonborn, the main protagonist from the game Skyrim, and I will mostly be talking about how he scales based on the lore from the Elder Scrolls. I hope you guys enjoy this. Not sure what I'm going to do for visuals because most of this is indeed text from like in-game script and stuff, but from what I can use from Elder Scrolls and Skyrim, I will to at least entertain you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy finding out more about this character. By the way, like I said at the beginning, if you want to see detailed Elder Scrolls videos, smash the like button. But here we go. Dragonborn was born with the innate ability to shout. This is akin to the language of the dragons, and I'm going to read a quick excerpt on what that inherently means. When you shout, you speak in the language of dragons. Thus, your dragon blood gives you an inborn ability to learn words of power. All shouts are made up of 3 words of power. As you master each word, your shout will become progressively stronger. And of course, these words have literally conceptual meanings behind them and lead to conceptual feats. These are actually shouts that manipulate the truth in the world. The dragon that wins, their side is now the truth, as their shouts actually do manipulate something called the Earth Bones. Earth Bones were former concepts that were dying out, and in order to protect reality or creation, they became the Earth Bones and basically govern the laws of reality, aka what is true in reality. We know that as far as feats for Dragonborn, Alduin's not his, quote, best feat. He does have several feats that scale to Alduin and above. Now, Miraak is someone I want to talk about. We know Dragonborn defeats Miraak in one-on-one combat, and Miraak back in his day scaled to Alduin as he was seen as someone that was a threat to Alduin's rule back when the dragon first popped. And what makes this crazy, though, is Miraak got a lot stronger. That is because he was taken by a Daedric prince and held in custody, but when he was being imprisoned, he was actually gathering and garnering knowledge and power. So he was heavily advancing himself. And when he fought the Dragonborn, I would argue he was at the peak of power and prep, and much stronger than when he was even a threat to Alduin. So this should be an Alduin plus feat. And not only does Dragonborn beat him, he absorbs some of his power. And this, of course, is done through the soul absorption that, if you guys don't know, Dragonborn dabbles in. He's constantly running dragons' fades for their souls. Alduin is also a foe that Dragonborn defeats on literally multiple levels. And defeating Alduin is no small feat. He's another character, by the way, I want to feature in a versus battle. Comment down below if you want to see Alduin in any battles. But Alduin himself can consume your time. He can literally eat away your age, turn you back into a child. He did this to an entire army and a king. Alduin also is the one destined to consume creation, and his father, Akatosh, the creator, also created the concept of time. Alduin should scale above all dragons who came forward at the dawn of creation itself. Alduin was also capable of casually covering a higher realm in mist. This realm is beyond realms that scale above the concepts that govern the dimensions in reality. Alduin also can consume higher form of souls in the afterlife, yet Dragonborn could neg him. Dragonborn is casually able to dispatch of dragons even early on, and dragons all are attached to the concept of time and can manipulate truth itself. These dragons he slaps around in the lore actually can casually fill the entirety of Nirn, and they ran Mundus. Nirn in creation itself, you can argue to be outer. It is a bit of wank, but you can argue it, as it's made in the form of literally a fallen outerversal concept. It would be like if Earth was made of eternity for Marvel Comics, right? Kind of think of it like that. Dragons also were referred to a while back as being attributed with the stoppage of time itself. Even basic dragons can mend the timelines, and Alduin was the greatest being in all Akatosh creation and the apocalypse. His death could not be done on a mortal plane. He has to be killed on multiple levels, which I already said your boy Dragonborn managed to do. I know there's some questions about, did Dragonborn do it alone? Yeah, his team was trash, and in the lore it basically states he had to carry the entire team and fold Alduin himself. Dragonborn can neg your fate and force you upon a new one. This is shown when he defies dragons who try to manipulate truth, manipulate his power, all that. He absorbs an Elder Scroll, and he stops the end of the world, aka Alduin. It's noted Alduin also consumes beyond the mortal planes and into afterlives as well. This is easily outer to high outer consumption if left unchecked by the Dragonborn. Dragonborn casually scales above beings that are formations of concepts, and they do so in order to destroy creation. Now, there's several gods throughout the Elder Scrolls mythos, and these gods are akin to an Alduin type force which is destined to destroy creation, and Dragonborn scales above that consistently. Dragonborn can also defeat beings that also battle you on the spirit plane. In this final battle Dragonborn has with Alduin was at the peak of battle for souls. This is multiple layers into the verse beyond the layers of concepts I talked about previously. Dragonborn still won the battle here. Also, dragons are stated as god kings over men, and that's when it's explained how they have the power to determine what is true in reality, and I find that to be fascinating. The feelings within the shouts of Dragonborn uses are conceptual, as it encapsulates the hatred of the oppressed. So basically the shouts are inherently powered by the hate and oppression that men felt from the dragons. So these conceptual hate bombs fill every shout he ever uses. It's kind of funny. His shouts are also based on his will and his imagination, which scales above concepts. Lightning spells that he can summon with shouts have area of effects of city level at worst in terms of range and can defeat high tier opponents. His shouts destroy souls, spirits, and ghouls as well. Even Dragonborn, who at this point casually kills dragons, could get one-shotted by the fodder Whispers of Greybeard. So shouts, pure Thum shouts, are stupidly powerful. Dragonborn's durability massively increased upon learning the voice, as he went from being killed by a Whisper to tanking full shouts to the face, no damage. His power in the Dragonrend shout goes far beyond any concept the human mind can actually understand and comprehend. Dragonborn absorbed power and knowledge from the Elder Scroll itself. These scrolls come from outside of time itself and are considered fragments of creation as a whole. Even gods fear them, for they can drive them insane. Alduin, who bullied Daedric princes, was actually fearful of the raw power of the Last Dragonborn. To finally scale him beyond Alduin, one of Alduin's top servants claims Dragonborn to soundly be above his master in terms of power. If he takes vampire form, which you can do so in the lore, he can drain life just by touch and raise the dead with a wave of blood magic. Vampire powers come from a being who can make reality purely out of whatever he's thinking about. Dragonborn wrecked a dragon who scales above beings that scale above time-altering dragons and slayed innumerable foes. Dragonborn also later absorbed a second scroll, and of course, like I mentioned, these are fragments of creation. He gains Oriel's bow, which draws power from the sun that merges dimensions. In character, he's going to bend your will to his cause via shouts and truth manip. Mirak was fully prepped, like I mentioned, and fully powered via his own word, and still lost. Dragonborn destroyed the Ebony Warrior, who had some of the best weapons in existence. He also oh, by the way, Ebony Warrior technically didn't even consider someone of Alduin's power level a threat or a quest worthy of him. Nuts. He also defeated Karstag, who is referred to as almost omnipotent. You should be level 50 or higher to challenge him, and given as your boy defeated the game pre-level 20 and beat Alduin, he's arguably way above Alduin in threat level. Ebony Warrior, like I said, technically didn't see this guy as a threat either, yet Dragonborn defeats him. You also, as Dragonborn, neg a mind hacks that sends you on infinite searches down endless halls. And some of the abilities he's known to use is Animal Allegiance, Aura Whisper, where he can see all forms of life. Battle Fury, he can become ethereal, basically becoming the void outside of creation so he can't be hurt. Can bend will, call down dragons. He can make you realize your mortality and take away your immortality. He can summon beings from beyond space and time to lend aid to him on his journey. He can change the weather, disarm his opponents, leave them dismayed, take on the mighty aspect of a dragon itself, unleash elemental fury, drain health, life, magic, and mortal energies, use ice, frost breath, can soothe beasts if turned upon him, and drain your life, and basically speak death upon you with mark of death via the voice, and cause you to die over time. He can also slow and manipulate time itself with slow time ability. And some of the weapons he can take hits from and use are literally considered metaphysical batteries. Alright, so that's kind of a long section. Sorry for that, but I haven't talked about Dragonborn in a very long time. If you want to see the updated Elder Scrolls stuff, definitely got you guys because it's been a while. But anyways, I've broken down both characters. Who do I think wins? This was very interesting. So He-Man, initially, I thought would get washed. But he easily, with his power sources, hits hard enough to be a viable threat to the likes of even Dragonborn. However, I feel like Dragonborn definitely has way too much versatility, and he's more well-rounded in like durability than He-Man is. He-Man's AP scales massively above his durability. He's not a glass cannon, it's just his power sources that he hits with are so crazy, he can't hope to scale to that. Like, he doesn't scale to creation busting and durability, really. He just hits that hard. So Dragonborn can avoid that by using the Void anyway, but even if he does get hit, it's very arguable he can tank it. And if they slug it out, the versatility, spells, drain life, health manip, all that stuff will come into play, and because of that, I favor the Dragonborn. In the end, I see Dragonborn coming out on top. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. If you like battles like these, let me know in the comment section down below. If you want to see either of these return to battle, let me know in the comment section. But thank you guys for watching. It's been your boy, YFV, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.